Hello, my name is Sam Felton and welcome to Expert Interviews here on Smash the Fat. With me today is FitPro Fitness Professional of the Year 2013. Amongst other things, it's Katie Bulmer-Cooke. How you doing, Katie?
I'm great, Sam. Thank you for inviting us.
Not a problem at all. And it's a real pleasure to have you here. In fact, I was just on your podcast, which people can check out if they just search for the Katie Bulmer Show. Is it?
Yeah, the Katie Bulmer-Cooke podcast show on iTunes. Yeah.
Yeah, if they just search for that, then it'll pop up in iTunes. Real pleasure to be on your show. And the reason that I wanted to get you on today is because you've written what's called the Fit Mummy Manual, along with Kelly Rain as well. Rennie, sorry, was it?
Yeah, Kelly Rennie. Yeah.
Kelly Rennie, that was it. Yeah. It's a fantastic little manual that kind of really explains the things that you need to do in order to be a fit mummy. Now, before we kind of get into that, first off, start us with kind of your story into the health and fitness industry.
Okay, it's a long one, mine, Sam.
Ready for the long haul.
My first experience of fitness really started from a very early age. My mum has been teaching aerobics since the 80s. She did her fitness instructor qualification in 1986 when she was on maternity leave with me. Okay. And my dad used to work away in the week, and my mum was teaching aerobics classes pretty much 5 nights a week, so she used to take me along with her. So from being 4, I used to sit in the corner, watched all the lovely ladies in their lycra and their thong back leotards and their push down socks doing their aerobics, and just absolutely loved it, and there was never anything else that I was going to do. So when I was 16, I did my exercise to music qualification and started teaching classes. From there, I started working in a health club, which was then a Sporter, which is now Virgin. From teaching classes, started working as a gym instructor. I think a pretty similar journey to yourself. Started on the gym floor, cleaning treadmills, interacting with members, doing gym inductions, loved it, and then started working as a PT there as well. And I think, much like the story you told me on my podcast, I sort of felt that in a way I'd outgrown that model and I wanted to go off on my own. I wanted to spread my wings, do my own thing. So went off and became a mobile personal trainer. I've been doing that now for about 6, coming up 7 years. And I absolutely love it. And along the way, I've launched a program called the Little Black Dress Club, which I licensed a few years ago. That's been in locations, up and down the country. Aside from that, done a lot of online work, been selling DVDs internationally with the Fit Mummy Manual that I started with my friend Kelly. We've had great success in helping so many women get their bodies back after they've had a baby. Obviously had a baby myself 4 years ago. Heidi's just turned 4. And now I find myself teaching and speaking at some of the biggest conventions in the UK. I do a lot of work helping other fitness professionals grow their business. And I'm still doing what I love, which I think is really important if I'm going to educate others on how to do it. I'm still on the ground doing PT, doing semi-private training, teaching classes, and I love it probably more now than I did 11 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of accumulates the love for health and fitness. The more that you help people, the more that you want to help people even more. It's kind of not really a vicious circle, a kind circle.
Yeah.
For sure. Brilliant. And as you said there, you're the author of the Fit Mummy Manual, which is kind of also an online program which is available at thefitmummymanual.com. And if people kind of want to check out the book on Amazon, they can do now if they go to smashthefat.com/FM UK for Amazon UK listeners, and if they go to smashthefat.com/FMUK That's for any US listeners that we've got. And it's a nice, simple book that people can really kind of hear to, because it comes from two mums. Is the main thing. You and Kelly are mums. You can kind of see your before and after pictures on the website as well, which is rather nice. And yeah, what was the journey of writing this for both you and Kelly?
Well, when we initially started the Fit Mummy Manual, we started with just the book and the DVD, and what we wanted to do was create something that mums could actually do. We felt that there was too much celebrity pressure, there was too much peer pressure, and there was too much misconception around what it takes to get your body back after you've had a baby. And being mums ourselves at the time, I think Heidi was coming up to a year, maybe just a little bit older, and Kelly had just had Nevaeh. Kelly's now got 2 babies, and we really understood how hard it was, but we also knew how it could be done. We understood that mums don't have a lot of time, that they have to be able to follow a nutrition plan that's family friendly, and we wanted to make it easy for them, and that's really where it came from. We split it down into key areas. The book covers mindset and goal setting is like the key foundation for the system and long-term success. We cover nutrition and we cover exercise as well. There's a small bit on supplements in there, but we keep that as an optional extra. And really the 3 key factors are the mindset, nutrition and exercise.
Absolutely. And kind of what was your journey like, kind of back to fitness after pregnancy?
It was an interesting one. I think for anyone listening who's had a baby, you'll know that everybody's experience is different. For me, I exercised right through my pregnancy, full on, obviously in a safe way that I knew was safe for me and was safe for the baby, but I kept up excuse me, with my exercise regime. And when I had Heidi, after a 74-hour labour, I was absolutely shattered. She didn't
that's epic. That's epic.
She didn't sleep and she still doesn't. So for me, it was all about finding time to fit my workouts in and getting to know this new body that had been through trauma. And that's exactly what labour is. It is a trauma on the body. And I think there was so much pressure on women to pretty much pick up where they left off while they were pregnant, and the body just isn't ready for that. So getting to know my new body was hard. Getting to understand my level of abdominal separation, my new fitness levels and how tired I was. And being kind to myself was a big factor. I think it's so easy to stand in front of the mirror and say, oh God, I hate everything I see. Am I ever going to get back to where I was? And you will, but you have to be kind to yourself, because your body's at a different starting position now than it was before you were pregnant, and it has been through a lot. So my journey was all about understanding my body and being kind to myself. And I did it quite quickly. Within 10, 11 weeks, I was back wearing my pre-pregnancy jeans and skinny jeans. And it happens at a different pace for everyone. It all depends on what your body was like before you were pregnant, during your pregnancy, etc. But for me, it was a 10-week journey. It's like you say, people can see the pictures excuse me, on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got some other success stories there as well. And what is it that people kind of have to do to try and kind of get their body back, or maybe even get it back even better, possibly?
Yeah, getting it back better is definitely doable. The first thing you have to do is understand. Excuse me, something. I've terrible tickling me throat.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. let's clear the throat before we sort all that out.
Sorry, I don't want to cut down the camera to viewers.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, so you've got to know where you started from. So for me, I had a natural delivery. Some people have a C-section. So the general rule is you have to wait until you've had your postnatal check. For a natural delivery, that'll be after 6 weeks. for a C-section, that'll be after 12 weeks. However, in a way for me, that's just a little bit of lip service, because the postnatal check, while I think it should be something really in-depth, the mother's abdominal separation should be checked, we should be doing much more around the mother as well as the baby. In actual fact, what normally happens is you go into the doctor's surgery, the doctor says, are you okay? You answer yes, because that's the obvious thing to say. And that's pretty much the end of the postnatal check. And that was certainly the case for me and lots of other women. So, in a way, you've got to take it in your own hands. First thing you should do is be aware of your abdominal separation. We've got a great free video on our website where you can find out your level of abdominal separation, and it's important to close that gap. There's some people that gap will never close completely, but there's a lot of work you can do to create strength and stability in your abdominals, again, following pregnancy. So check that out, be aware of your abdominal separation, and from there, then you can start looking at some exercise that's appropriate. Initially, I'd be starting with some breathing exercises, then building from there and looking at some simple body weight exercise that's functional for the actions of a mother, so deadlifts, squat, push-up, and I'd be avoiding things that created a lot of abdominal pressure, such as curl-ups and planks, for definite. So functional exercises that help the new mum be strong in her everyday life. And then that's really the foundation. Once you've nailed that, then you can start looking at adding some extra load, adding some more intensity. But the key thing is to start small. I've been working with a client recently. Her baby's now 16 weeks. She's right back to where she was and before she had her baby, before she was pregnant, sorry, which is amazing. She had a C-section, and most of that she has achieved through a good, sound nutrition plan and breathing exercises with some bodyweight exercise on top of that. It doesn't have to be all in, because if you jump in with 2 feet again after you've had a baby, the chances are you'll do yourself more damage than good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, really important that you take it slow and one step at a time. So what kind of workout would you be doing kind of straight after your labour?
Okay, so straight away after labour, whenever you feel ready, you can certainly start some good breathing exercises. So I would have you, and this is what I did, and this is what's in the manual. I would have my client lying on their back, eyes closed, so they can really focus on the connection between pelvic floor and transverse abdominis, asking them to inhale, then as they exhale, thinking of engaging pelvic floor. Now, there's loads of different ways that we can describe how to engage pelvic floor. I've heard every jargon-tastic way to do it in the world, but the way that I've found connects with clients best is to keep it simple. You breathe in, and as you breathe out, you stop yourself passing wind and water at the same time. And then following on from that, you draw your navel down towards your back. And again, we've got this on a free video on the website, but essentially it's about reconnecting pelvic floor and transverse abdominis again following delivery. So I would be doing that particular movement of inhaling, exhaling, and engaging pelvic floor and transverse abdominis 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night, and I'd be doing that for about 2 weeks initially before I look at adding more traditional exercises such as squat, push-up, deadlift, etc.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Trying to bring back that kind of core strength and breathing stability is kind of really important there. And then what would somebody's kind of nutrition kind of look like postnatal?
Okay, so postnatally, when we wrote the manual, we wanted everything that we gave the readers to be nutrient dense, because it is about repair and growth following a traumatic experience. So we're looking at very simply fresh meat and fish, Lots of green vegetables, lots and lots of green vegetables. Looking at one portion of fruit a day, and we're looking at berries predominantly, raspberries, blueberries, etc. Eggs and nuts, and they're pretty much the baseline of the nutrition plan. Lots and lots of water, herbal teas, and without going into too much detail, that's the foundation of the nutrition plan.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of what we actually advise already to kind of all the listeners and viewers. So it's good to hear that that's kind of would be healthy for postnatally. And on top of that, does that kind of produce healthy breast milk, for instance, would you say?
Yeah, we wrote, oh God, there was such a demand for this. And I didn't breastfeed, but Kelly did. So because I hadn't been reading up on it as much, unless I had a client who was, there was such a demand, and when we launched the manual, for breastfeed-friendly recipes. So we ended up making a breastfeeding-friendly cookbook. And again, it is all about giving your baby the best if you're going to breastfeed. So cutting out things like processed food, excess sugar, and all the nasties, caffeine, that shouldn't be in our diet. And if we wouldn't want them in ours, then surely we wouldn't want them in the babies either. So yes, it is about creating a healthy mom, and a mom that can supply, if they're breastfeeding, their baby with the correct nutrients, definitely.
Absolutely, and just so that all the US listeners know, because about 40% of our listenership is from America, by the way, Katie. So, ma'am means mother, by the way, just so that everybody knows. Just clarifying that, because for our US listeners, this might be a new British accent for them to listen to. Where are you from? Is it, Katie? It's Sunderland, isn't it?
I'm from Sunderland, which is northeast England. If people aren't familiar with Sunderland, I'm sure they'll have probably heard of Newcastle, which is right next door. And yes, ma'am is a word that's pretty much only used in the northeast of England as well. The rest of England are using mum. Yeah, if you're wondering what mum is, it's mother.
Yeah, absolutely, that's great. And kind of on average, what's kind of the recovery time? I mean, you were saying there before that it's of course it's different for everybody, but is it kind of 12, 16 weeks in terms of recovery?
It really does depend on, well, there's a few deciding factors. First of all, it's what kind of pregnancy/labour did you have? Did you have a long labour? Did you have a section? Was there any interventions such as forceps or Von-2s? That's the starting point. The next thing will be to do with sleep. How well does your baby sleep? Mine didn't sleep well at all, still doesn't. So how much time a year is your body being given to repair and recover? If your sleep's not great, then not a lot of time. It'll depend on the quality of your nutrition as well. Is that giving you enough energy? Is it allowing you to repair in the same way as your sleep does? But I think it's just really key that mums also don't try and stress themselves out too much about how long it's going to take them. Because it will take everybody a different amount of time, but you will get there. So while there's some people who get there in 10, 11 weeks, there might be some people who get there sooner. Some people might be months, but it is doable. But if you want to give yourself the best head start, then good quality nutrition, exercise, even if it's just getting out, walking and pushing your pram, will really, really help.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of the mindset of all this, and obviously I'll never be a mother, I'll never have to go kind of through the labour unless technology has some sort of crazy advance. But what's kind of the mindset of going through this? Because obviously you want to attend to your newborn baby as much as possible, and some people might kind of even neglect their own health whilst looking after their baby. So what's kind of going on in the mother's mind during this time?
I think it's important, first of all, that you don't put so much pressure on yourself by looking at celebrity. So it would be easy to look at Beyonce, for example, and think, wow, she looked amazing, really quick. But at what cost? Like, how long did she have to spend at the gym to do that in, say, 3 weeks? Did she have to sacrifice time with her new baby? And that's really, it's just not worth it. So I think mum and baby time has to come first, which is why if you are going to work out, it is important that you do exercise that doesn't make you feel guilty, that you enjoy, that perhaps you can do with your baby, because it's a really, really special time, and it will be such a shame for that special time to be spoiled by piling all this pressure on top of yourself. So try and do exercise such as getting out with your pram, walking, getting to the park, doing something like the 12-minute workouts that we have in the Fit Mummy manual, which can be done at home. So definitely home exercise as opposed to the gym might be beneficial initially. And I think in terms of what's going on in your mind, again, not putting too much pressure on yourself, but constantly reminding yourself of your goals. So for me, possibly a slightly different scenario, I knew that all eyes were on me to do this, to get back, because of the nature of my job. And that did keep us going. I knew that I was a role model for other people. But from a client point of view, I'm speaking to my clients, it is massively important to people to feel good about themselves. So just try and be mindful of how good you'll feel when you get there and how proud you'll be of yourself. And that, it can act as a massive motivator to keep yourself going, but definitely not at the cost of spending time with your baby, because it is such an important time. So think about your exercise modality and how that can fit in with your new lifestyle.
Absolutely, and it's quite simple to actually find a baby exercise class now, isn't it? There are a lot of kind of pram exercise classes out there now, and kind of creates that social support there, which is kind of really important as well during that time as well. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely important. I was very lucky when I had Heidi. One of my very good friends, Leanne, she had a baby at the same time, and we used to get out together, push in the pram, have a chat about everything that you worry about, especially as a first-time mum. So you're right, the social aspect of it, and just getting you out the house sometimes is fantastic. So yeah, buggy classes. I know in my local area we have like a mums in the pool thing, so it's like aqua aerobics with the baby in the flotation device, and you can do that together. There's baby yoga. There's all kinds. There's so much. It's such a growing market. And if you don't want to spend money doing that and joining a class, parks are free. You've got your pals. Just get out and do some form of exercise, get some fresh air, and get socialising as well.
Absolutely. Or you could spend about £8 on the Fit Mummy manual by Katie Bulmer-Cooke. That always helps too. And that kind of lays out the plan there for you. And you can also join your online programs, which are available from the website, thefitmummymanual.com as well.
Yeah. We've got varying products on our website. So we've got everything from DVDs to the ebook, and then we've got our more in-depth, shall we say, programs. We've got our 8-week transformation program. So there is something on there for every new mum based on how much information they want and how much they want to spend.
Yeah, absolutely. That's perfect. And where else can people find out more information about Katie Bulmer-Cooke?
Oh, well, you can find it obviously at thefitmummymanual.com or at katiebulmer.com. Or you can follow me on Twitter at katiebulmer1.
As well, that's ideal, and then you can ask directly to yourself on Twitter as well, which is the beauty of Twitter these days. And there's only just one more thing to do, Katie, and that's to hear a smash it out from Katie Bulmer-Cooke.
Okay,
so on 3,
smash it out.
Yeah, I want you to shout "smash it out" to the camera on 3.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3.
Smash it out.
Awesome. There we go. We're getting everybody to do that on the on each and every expert interview, and then on our 100th episode, because this is episode 73, we're going to have all the smash it outs in a row. So that'll be rather interesting, having all of the different expert interviews doing that. But anyway, thank you so much for your time today, Katie. It's been a real pleasure, and I highly recommend everybody going to check out Katie's stuff. You can just start off by going to katiebulmer.com and checking out all of her online programs, and checking out the videos on the fitmummymanual.com as well. So thanks a lot, Katie, and I'll speak to you soon.
Great, thanks, Sam.
Cheers. Ta-ra.
Bye.